What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to another weather forecasting video on the Royal NYR54 channel. I hope you all are having a fantastic day whenever you guys are seeing this. This is an update to the most recent video that I posted just the other day about potential severe weather coming up over the next week or so for the Mid-Atlantic region. So let's just take a look at some of the newest model runs here. So I have my pen pulled up in case I need it, but let's just take a look at what we got right now. So we have this surface low, this mess that's currently sitting over the Carolinas, just dumping rain on top of them. So watch this, just watch this surge of moisture that you can see right in here, the darker green shaded, and then it's kind of hooking around in the low. Just keep an eye on that. So watch as that starts to surge up tomorrow into the Mid-Atlantic Northeast area. As you can see, it starts to take over New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and in fact, even parts of New York State. So the Storm Prediction Center tomorrow has issued a general thunderstorm risk, but quite frankly, with that surge of moisture, the instability and heating that will be present, I find it likely that we will be finding a marginal tomorrow for parts of the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast, so we're definitely going to have to keep an eye on that. The marginal would include New Jersey, Pennsylvania, possibly New York State, Delaware, Maryland, Virginia, etc. Those kinds of areas would likely be in the marginal for tomorrow. Also notable, this is not the topic of the video, but this surge of moisture here is going to be impacting plains tomorrow. As you can see, we also have a surge of moisture down in the south from the Pacific that'll be surging up along with the dry line and sending in front, which is very interesting. So, over the next few weeks, we're going to start getting into that ring of fire pattern where the lows from the Pacific just keep cycling to the north and east and eventually into Canada or potentially the Mid-Atlantic is what we've seen. Again, I mentioned at the end of the last video that pop-up thunderstorms are going to become likely almost every single day in these parts of the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast. Just with the moisture present, and then you add the heating that there always is in the summer and the instability, it's definitely possible. So let's just scroll through what we're seeing here. In fact, I'm going to try and focus on my specific area, so I'm just going to take a regional point of all of this. We'll still be able to see all the patterns and stuff like that. But just getting a look at what we got right now, you can see over the next couple of days, you see that moisture surge. And then as the days go along, this is not even the 23rd, which is the day I'm looking at. Look at all of this moisture present. Again, this is because of the lows that are going to be sweeping from the north to the east. Or from the south and west to the north and east, excuse me. So, that's going to make it very, it's going to make the air very thick. So, the humidity is going to be ridiculous. The dew points are probably going to be in the 60s or 70s. In fact, I'll take a look at the dew points in a minute here. But this is, in fact, closer to the ground. This is the 850 millibar dew point height and wind barbs. So, taking a look, you just have this moisture surge, and you can especially see this will be Wednesday the 23rd. You can especially see that it'll be present. If you're, Jesus. Yeah, but you can especially see that, oh my God. You can especially see that it will be present, as you can see the darker greens up and around these areas. You can see the darker shades right in and around there, and even some shades up in New Jersey, up in Vermont. Those areas are likely going to be the areas that we're going to have to watch for potential thunderstorm development and instability. I noted in the last video that the 23rd and the 26th are probably two important days to watch going forward. Simply because you add the mid-level shear that will be pleasant. The mid-level shear that will be pleasant. The mid-level shear is pleasant. You add the mid-level shear that will be present, and along with the instability, heating, humidity, it's going to be very favorable. As my phone goes off, it's going to be very favorable for storm development. So just as we scroll through over the next few days, you can see that moisture just remains here. It won't go away. Especially for the Mid-Atlantic. I'm just going to move that out of the way real quick. But you can just see, we get a break after a while. This is the 22nd, actually. We just scrolled past the 26th. You guys can see the lateral end of this, and it's getting pretty moist up in there. As you can see, GFS doesn't really do that far out, and we're getting marginal severe soundings for parts of the Mid-Atlantic. So it's going to be very interesting to watch as my laptop is in the way, so I'm gonna move that. I apologize. Um, it's gonna be very interesting to see how this moisture surge, the moisture surge ends up impacting storm development, whether it'll be greater or less. And you can actually even see right up in here, you see the rotating winds that are going in a counterclockwise fashion. That would indicate the low pressure system sitting right over here, especially in that circle. So it's just going to be pumping moisture up and into the north and east, because that's the direction of winds that involves the low pressure there. So the lateral end of this is going to move through, looks like on the 25th and 6th, and it's just going to dump a whole lot of heat and humidity, especially on areas in the eastern part of the Mid-Atlantic, particularly New Jersey, New York, Connecticut, Massachusetts, and parts of the Northeast as well. So it'll be very interesting to watch how storm development there becomes present, and definitely possible for severe weather as well. So I'm going to wipe the canvas real quick and then scroll time along. You can see we actually get a little bit of a break. This is the 27th and on. We actually get a little bit of a break from the heat and humidity, which is going to be fantastic after having several days of it. And it's back 2 days later. And in fact, if we scroll back here, yeah, you can see right up in here, broader area, but still right there. That is a very bad L. Broader area, but still definitely there of low pressure right in there. So this is going to be, again, this is going to be, again, surging the moisture to the east and north, as the east first. But as you guys can see, you have all this moisture present down here that'll just surge up into the north and east. In fact, I will zoom out to the entire country so we can get a better idea of how it looks. But scrolling through, you can just see the moisture surges again. Especially in the more marital areas down here, you can see 15 degrees Celsius dew points and stuff like that. So it's going to be very, it's definitely going to be very warm. It'll feel very warm. And ladies and gentlemen, look at this. As we get into more model runs, I'll be able to get a better view of this. Could be talking about a 4th of July swamp in the Great Lakes, Mid-Atlantic, Northeast. We'll have to see how all of that develops. Again, this is 384 hours out. But when trying to forecast stuff, this is one of the main models, so I have a lot of trust in it. And just because of the pattern that we typically see in the summer, I would not be surprised if something like this ends up developing. So that'll be very interesting to watch as time goes along for potential storm development. Let's go back out to the national and let's take a look at the United States. So this is the pattern right now. You got this big surging low sitting over the Carolinas and this low sitting over Canada. You have the drier areas up here. So I'm actually in somewhat of a dry area right now, but humidity is still 70%, so it's not that good around here, but it's better than what it could be. So let's just watch as time goes along. You see that pattern. I'm going to see if I can get a good view from the south of these lows, but you can kind of see it. It would be, let me pull up my pen again. It would be right in here. This is a drier area, so not much really helps develop out there, but you guys can see just in the broader areas off of this low, you can see a lot of moisture pumping into the Texas-Oklahoma area there. You have what looks to be 2 spots of circulation up in Canada. This is the 22nd going into the 23rd. So, again, day I've been watching, you can just see the moisture just surging to the north and east, which is very, very interesting, and it's going to feel really bad around here. But as you can just see through the day, look at that moisture surge. It just starts blowing up from these lows. And then usually with the jet stream, they get taken away to the north and east. So as we can see, as pivotal weather seems to be glitching a little bit, as you can see, get a little bit of a breakup in the mid-Atlantic northeast area. But watch this bomb low up here sitting in Canada Look at these different readings. This is absolutely mental, ladies and gents. This is going to be something to watch. This could be a very interesting situation for the Great Lakes, Mid-Atlantic, Northeast area for potential severe weather. This is way far out in the future, but possibly 4th of July, I could be talking about some very interesting storm development. If this model run holds its status, in fact, I'm going to just do this real quick. Excuse me. So if this model run holds, you're just talking about a lot of explosive humidity, especially around a lot of explosive moisture, excuse me. The low is way up to the north, but it's so big that the different spots of the rotation, you guys can still see the general rotation, the wind barbs. It's going all across the continent, ladies and gents. And in combination with that, you have the moisture here. You have the moisture patches all around here. This is going to, along with the tropical low, so we haven't even talked about tropics, especially now you have tropical surges because of that warm air. You're going to be talking about a very moist situation around here, and it could get pretty severe if this model run holds. It could get pretty severe, and that's going to be definitely something to watch as my phone goes off again. It's definitely going to be something to watch as time goes along. Let's go right back to surface precipitation, as that'll be something interesting to see. And as you guys can see, if I just move this down in here, you guys can just see big mess of precipitation up in parts of Canada. This would be, excuse me, this would be in parts of Ontario. It's very, very messy down there, and as you guys can see, the cold front just extending all the way down, along with this 991. It's very interesting, and even down here, you guys can see it extends down there too. So watch as time goes along. It'll be interesting to see how stuff ends up developing from the tropical low as well. We'll see how that helps storm development in the Mid-Atlantic Northeast area. Tomorrow, actually, the 18th will be very interesting. We'll have to see how that possibly favors storm development in the Northeast Mid-Atlantic area, as the mid-level shear is very favorable, along with the instability, heating, etc. It'll provide for an interesting day. But scrolling along, you guys can see this, just in this frame especially, big, fat cold front extending all the way down into the Oklahoma, Texas area. This low is in the process of developing, so it's really not going to have a big hand in what this whole cold front is doing. But I need my pointer. Just watch as time goes along. You can see the instability is there, and along with the different surface lows. So at this point, you have, in terms of surface lows, you got one here. You guys can see the circular areas there. It's just not present. You got one there. You got one there. You have one here. This is going to make it very interesting. And then you have the high pressure up here, which is kind of evening everything out. But as they move along to the north and east, these will just sweep. And this will probably get close to the coast before it ends up moving away. Due to the high pressure, it could just get pushed. Moisture is going to be very present, and it's going to definitely pump. The low-level shear, mid-level shear will vary day by day. It really just depends on the instability present. Is there enough moisture, instability, heating to get thunderstorms to rise? That's really going to be the question of most days, especially when we're talking about the summer. You got heating and humidity almost every single day. Is there going to be enough of it to surge moisture up in the air and produce thunderstorms? That's really going to be the question of the day every single day going forward. But if we wipe this and scroll along, you can see moisture is just present every single day. And this is going into the 23rd. What I was talking about here, you got low here, low here. Mid-Atlantic is just kind of sandwiched in all of this. As you take a look in here, just kind of this area is just kind of sandwiched. So instability, heating, moisture is all present. So whether or not anything strong can really develop from that is something else. But I see it definitely possible in the foreseeable future. We continue to move along. You can see that is interesting. Over the plains, you can see that kind of cold front developing as well. It's just going to kind of circulate there. And then we have a 998. This is the 24th. So this is not even at a day I was looking at. Actually, this would be the 23rd, because if you have to remember it's in Universal Time. So Universal Time, I'm in Eastern, so I just have to subtract 4. So this would be 20Z for me, which would be 8 p.m. Cold front. Line of storms developing, and it'll probably just sweep through as it moves up to the north and east. And then right behind it, you got a different front. I don't know what that is. I'm going to do my research on that. I haven't seen that since the latest model run. But going into that, that's definitely going to be something interesting to watch as storms start to just sweep through. And again, as we can just see every single day, there's storms there. It doesn't matter where the low is positioned. There's just storms popping up. The severity of them is different, but there's always storms popping up, it seems. So as we actually move along into the this is the 25th, and as we move along into the 26th, storms are popping up. They're not as bad as they looked in the most previous model runs. The 25th, in fact, might be worse. As you can see, just storms start to blow up around in this area throughout the day, and it's very widespread, very scattered, so it'll probably be local to your area as time goes throughout the day. Then we kind of get a break, even though it looks like some rain does sweep through. Then we kind of get a break for a while, even though some spotty showers and storms do appear to pop up. And then you're right back in action on the 29th and 30th with these storms popping up. But then the high pressure sits, and in fact lets this big bomb of a 988 mature. And I would actually like to see as time goes along, because I haven't gone this far in the outlook. I like to see as time goes along, what does it look like? That looks pretty bad. Again, the moisture is going to be present all around here, so spotty storms are going to be very favorable. And these are 6-hour blocks. I can't get a good judgment on anything that's going to go on with a 6-hour block, because it's a very wide margin of time, especially when you're talking about thunderstorms. So time will tell with this. As we can see, the high pressure will move out. The low is stationed all the way up and over here, and we could even have some sort of cyclone thingy, it looks like, emerging at the bottom. That could be a disturbance. But it's just very moist and unstable. And when you're talking about thunderstorm development, this high is going to sweep to the north and east. This low here, which is up here somewhere, it's further to the north. This low is going to sweep to the east and north and away. With that, bands and bands and bands of storms are probably going to be affecting the mid-Atlantic northeast area. This would be the July 4th time period, so that's definitely something to keep in mind. We're going to have to keep an eye on that. I'd like to continue along, though, and we've already looked at precipitation up here, so that's not a big thing. But let's just take a look at the dew points as time goes along. So I just want to make sure, yes, I do have the 18Z mile run. As you can see, things get a little moist and humid around here. So the heating and humidity will favor storm development, as you can see on the 20th. Tomorrow, there is enough moisture to do something. There is enough heating to be able to produce thunderstorms. It's not as bad as we could see, though, and especially... Holy yikes. So we're getting 74 dew points there, and especially down, I got a 75 there. That is very moist and unstable, ladies and gents. That photograph we're not going to talk about. That's very moist and unstable, and it definitely could favor storm development. And these, the summer patterns are very interesting, and especially now with the La Nina, in combination with with freaking tropical surface something. It is a mix. The thing over the Carolinas is a mix. I've had a few people ask me what on earth that is, and quite frankly, I can't even tell you. It's just a mix of something or other that I don't really know as of this moment. So, excuse me. Time goes along. Y'all can see not thunderstorms, excuse me, dew points and humidity is definitely present. And over back, and 76 dew points as this low finally sweeps. So you can see there's actually a visible area of the low pressure. So, like I said, the 25th or the 26th may not be as bad as I was projecting it to be in the last outlook. Why is there 78-degree dew points? Might not be as bad as I was potentially saying in the last outlook. The 25th could end up being worse. So that'll definitely be something to keep an eye on. So as you can see, we kind of get a break from the moisture. Dews are still in the 50s, so it's not anything spectacular, but it's not anything horrible. And then time continues to go along, surge of moisture down in and around here, and we're getting dew points of 78. That's in northern lower Michigan, which is very, I can't say I didn't expect it. As I was mentioning, this low that's going to be sitting over very northern Canada is going to be a big thing, especially down here for spotty pop-up storms. It's going to be a very big thing, very big determining factor. I did not know I had this open. Let's just close that out real quick. So let's go back to severe weather. Let's take a look at the Cape, because that'll be a very, I haven't actually taken a look at the Cape. I've been focusing on really the surface dews and the wind and stuff like that. So as you can see with the Cape, it's present every single day, and some days more than others. This is the 20th. You can see almost 3,000 Capes sitting over parts of New York State, and that's actually the southern parts of New York State, which makes sense. As you can see, especially on this is the 23rd. I haven't even taken a look at the Cape values for the 23rd. I just thought it was going to be interesting. But yes, this is going to be the 22nd into the 23rd. It's there. It's definitely there. And there is, in fact, Cape values of over 3,000, which is contaminated there. Again, GFS is not good in the short term, so I don't really trust that. But as you can see, there is, in reality, you only need about 500 to 1,000 mid-level Cape to get thunderstorms. They might not be the strongest thing in the world. As you can see, just the lightest possible grays. That's really almost all you need, especially as they pop up a little bit more later on. You don't really need much, and even this is enough. You can see down here up throughout parts of Jersey, New York's, Northeast might get battered from the low that I'm talking about going into the 25th and 26th. You really don't need much. See 845 right there. That's really all you need, and we're getting a marginal severe sounding that is not contaminated. So you don't need much. And as stated by a lot of the severe weather events, they've been, especially in the Northeast Mid-Atlantic, they've been low Cape, high shear events. So the shear, I will also take a look at the bulk shear. But as time goes along, you can just see it pops up every single day. No matter how strong it is, there is usually going to be enough for some type of storm development. And even right down here near Philly, 1,000, that is enough. As you can see, marginal severe, not contaminated. You don't need too much. In essence, the idea hello. So in essence, the idea of you needing a lot of Cape and stuff like that, like over 2,000 or 3,000 to get severe weather, not true. You really only need 500 to 1,000. And then you take a look at the bulk shear, which I'm actually going to do right this second. You can get a better idea of something that could potentially pop up. And as you guys can see, the shear is not that good. You're getting only 15 knots or something like that. So the 23rd comes in and sweeps through. 24th could be interesting to watch. And then the 25th, boom. Right over here, you're getting 35 knots or 38 knots in some spots of surface-based shear. Severe weather, I've been trying to say, is definitely possible on both the 23rd and the 26th. The idea that it's going to be... a really horrible event or whatever is not true. It's going to be a severe event. It's going to be storm. It's mid-Atlantic, midsummer, or early summer, mid-June is what I meant to say. Yeah, it's just going to be, it's going to be something that's going to be very interesting to watch. And the shear over here, there is a low pressure system there, so I'll note that. But basically, summer's here. Summer's about to start taking its pattern. Thunderstorms, in essence, basically possible every single day, and regardless of their severity or not, you're likely going to see some sort of thunderstorm activity almost every single day, depending on where you are in the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast. It's going to be very spotty, going to be very scattered, but it should be interesting to watch. I'm going to have more videos going up on this later on, just kind of outlooking everything that's supposed to be going on as I get more information. And that, this low that's sitting over Canada, hour 384, does look very interesting. So I'm going to make sure I can get good look on that as time goes along, and hopefully I'll have a better look on it and better information for it by the time I record next. That's going to be all for this video. I appreciate you all tuning in. If you guys did enjoy this weather forecasting video, please be sure to leave a like rating down below. Also, hit the subscribe button if you're new around here, and click the notification bell if you guys want to be notified every time I go live. And that'll do it. I will see you guys on the next video or live stream. As my phone goes off one more time, it wanted a final word in the video. So, from me and my phone, I will see you guys in the next video or live stream. Take care. Peace out.